Veronica presents the AI Repertory Theatre's production of Neworld Papers. Book 1, The Historian's Tale, by K.B. Shaw. Chapter 12. No More Secrets.
Addie and I headed back to our pod. From a distance, we could tell that light was spilling from the pod's entrance tunnel. Energized by the new discoveries, we ran to the pod and stopped just inside the meeting room. The ceiling was domed like that of the Commons, but on a smaller scale, and it displayed the same sky, only the Sol was no longer straight overhead. I checked my pocket watch, 12:41. Addie drew my attention to a small glass plate next to the static box. The plate was dark. Addie gave it a tap and it lit up like the light controller at the generating station. It had two sliding buttons, one vertical and one horizontal. A third button was marked Call. She moved the vertical control down and up again. As expected, the sky above dimmed and brightened. The horizontal button was set in the middle of a slider bar. When Addie slid it slowly to the left, the clouds and Sol disappeared, and the dome cycled through the whole range of colors. Back to center, and the sky showed the Sol had moved a bit more. When she dragged it to the right, the roof displayed a dazzling number of stationary and moving patterns. She moved it back to center. There was something hopeful and reassuring about the clear blue sky. She looked at the call button and gave me a questioning look. I knew exactly what she meant. Sure, press it. She touched the button, and a long list of locations appeared. We couldn't tell where all the places were, since they had names we weren't familiar with. Suddenly, the sound of soft bells came from the control plate. The screen went dark, and white letters appeared that said, Incoming Call. At the bottom of the screen were two new buttons, Accept and Decline. Addie tapped Accept. Randall's face appeared, accompanied by his voice.
Hello.
Hello.
I just saw this location become active. It's called, Dorm B. I'm not quite sure where that is.
It's our Pod G's common room.
I should have known it would be you two. Can you step back just a bit so I can see you both? Yes, that's better. I've already talked with Sean at the engineering bay, Mrs. Greer at her quarters, and Bedford in the archive. Annika and I've worked through a few bugs.
Bugs?
That's what Annika calls glitches. She's really quite Everything working at your location?
The meeting area has a sky ceiling like the Commons. We were just playing with the controls. It's pretty incredible.
We haven't been in our cottage yet.
Let me know if you have any trouble at all. I'll be here in the control room until my crew arrives. It's listed as Gen Control in the directory. Exciting times, isn't it?
The screen went dark. This is too much, I said, rubbing my temples. Addie gave me a hug. I put my arms around her and kissed the top of her head. I'm glad you've been with me through all of this. I wish you could have been at the observation base for the descent, too. She looked up at me.
You weren't sure you liked me, yet.
I thought of you as a little girl.
I showed you that I'm a grown woman. At the inn, remember?
I tapped my temple. You know I can't remember things. Maybe you should show me again. She punched me on the arm playfully. Then we kissed. It was tender and passionate at the same time. Then Addie pushed me away.
Race you to the cottage.
She took off running and I took pursuit. When we got inside, we didn't spend a lot of time playing with the room lights. There was, something else on our minds. The plate just inside the entrance was simple, with only the vertical slider to dim the ceiling and a call button. The bedroom light let us control both brightness and color. We set it to give the dim, reddish warmth of red nights. Addie's hair glowed like embers in the light. We took our time undressing each other before falling into bed. I don't know why, but images of Missy Howard surfaced in my mind. Memories of her stepping from the tub, her naked body glistening in the gaslight, of the first night we coupled, my first time. I couldn't help comparing the two. Jenna's body was more mature than Addie's, her breasts fuller. I shook my head, trying to clear the images. It felt wrong to be having these images while Addie straddled me. I realized my feelings for Addie were different than those I had for Jenna. Less impulsive, but no less passionate. It meant more because Addie and I shared more than the physical act of coupling. I stopped Addie's rhythmic motions and rolled her over to the side.
What is it?
Nothing, I lied, not looking her in the eyes. She laid her head on my chest and moved her hand down my body. I grabbed her wrist and stopped her. She pulled away and propped herself on her elbow.
Did I do something wrong?
I couldn't look at her.
Tell me.
No, you didn't. I rolled to face her, kissed her on the breast, and said, "You're wonderful. We've been in the middle a lot of astounding discoveries.
Yes, we have.
Yet you are the most astonishing discovery of my life." I kissed her again.
Then what's wrong?
It's me. I betrayed you.
Betrayed me? How could you have betrayed me?
Just now, you know how my mind works.
Yes.
Well, when you were on top of me, my mind,
Your mind what?
I saw images of Jenna.
Jenna?
Naked. As she was getting out of the tub, when we coupled.
Oh, Fallon, I've seen your drawings of her, so I can appreciate what you saw in your mind. She's beautiful.
And so are you. I shouldn't be thinking of her. I'm with you.
I know she was your first. I know you will always have images of her in your mind. She and I talked about you, about your relationship.
My anger toward Jenna was pricked. I started to say something, but Addie put her fingers over my lips.
Shh. Women talk about things like that. I'm sure men do too.
She used me. I was just something she wanted to control. Addie sat up and gave me a little shove.
No, she didn't. You know that. She was taken with you.
Then why did she...
Because she knew you'd be leaving. It tore her to pieces, having to give you up like that.
Really?
She told me she'd have considered using her contract with you if things weren't the way they are. I wanted you because you're stemmed, and Jenna said that you'd be a good first.
Someone to practice with. She hesitated before answering.
Yes, practice. Both Jenna and Grandma have told me that if a woman is to get favorable terms in a contract, she must be experienced and desired. That's the way of the world.
The way of the world. Addie lay on her back and considered the soft glow of the ceiling lights.
But the world seems to be changing. For you, for me, for everyone.
It does.
If this were the old world and you were able, I'd want to contract you. And I'd hope that you'd want to contract me. And we'd live together forever, like Toby and Sean's parents.
I would, you know. I would contract you. Live with you. Raise our children in one household. She leaned into me and we kissed. Trouble is, I'm stemmed. We're both dead. And your contract has reverted to the council.
That leaves us with only one thing we can do, silly boy.
What's that? She climbed on top of me again and said,
Practice, practice, practice.
When we headed back to the commons for supper, we saw pools of light scattered around the cavern in places we knew to be workstations and bays. Addie grabbed my arm.
Stop a second. Do you feel that?
Yeah, it's a breeze,
A warm breeze,
she added.
and the air smells fresher.
A wisp of pine? She smiled and nodded. She took my hand and we strolled leisurely to the commons. When we arrived, the sol was close to setting. We found Joe and Toby sitting in the courtyard, looking at the sky and talking. Toby saw us approaching and said,
You know which direction the sol is set.
"West," I said, verifying it with my mental image of the map of the quarters I'd seen.
That's right, boyo, like our sols.
But it's neither of our souls.
Offered Joe.
And the sky isn't the same blue as our sky.
No, it's more vibrant.
Then whose sol is it?
I didn't have to think about it. I instinctively knew the answer. It's the builder's soul. They were a long way from home for who knows how long. Neworld wasn't going to be their home, so they made this place in their own image. Addie squeezed my hand.
Earth.
She said solemnly. The four of us gazed at the setting soul.
Earth.
Earth, said Toby and Joe as one. Home, I said and sighed at the thought. After a moment's silence, Toby said,
Not to be insensitive to such profundity,
Joe interrupted.
Profundity? That's the longest word I've ever heard you utter, Toby.
just because I was a pugilist doesn't mean I'm not educated.
I didn't know I was coupling with a pedagogical pugilist.
Teased Joe.
A what?
Never mind.
Anyway, we were hoping to catch you on your way to supper.
We're heading there now,
said Addie, taking Joe's hand and leading us to the mess. She leaned close to Joe and said,
I know what pedagogical means, but what's a pugilist?
A boxer. A prize fighter. Toby was a champion, you know.
Really?
When I saw him fight, it was in Ellsworth.
That's on the South Grade, isn't it?
Joe nodded.
At the mouth of Finger Lake. I was the reading and writing teacher there. It's a small town with no social life and few contract prospects for a woman my age, if you know what I mean. When I heard about the fight, I thought I owed it to myself to go. I'd never seen a prize fight before.
Joe glanced back at Toby, then leaned into Addie and spoke more softly.
I was attracted to him the moment he entered the room. His muscles, his bare chest. Long story short, I mustered the courage to talk to him after the match and I contracted him within the week. That was almost 2 cycles ago. We're almost out of contract and I haven't.
What are you ladies talking about?
Nothing.
The mess was crowded, so I offered to scout out a table and hold it while the others got our dinners. The ceiling light was set to a level only slightly brighter than the gas lights. The best thing about these lights was that they didn't sputter and flicker. I wondered if the Greer Manor would still be standing if its lights had been powered by electricity instead of fueled by gas. No, I concluded, it still would have burned, but perhaps the basement wouldn't have collapsed if there hadn't been an explosion. And maybe it would have left us a way out. I tried to be unobtrusive as I waited by a table where 3 people were just finishing. I noticed that many had shed their sweaters and that everyone was talking about the lights and speculating about the sky ceilings. Thankfully, the diners vacated the table just before Addie, Joe, and Toby arrived. As soon as the others sat down, I went to the serving line. The meal was a special celebration. Tender, seasoned beef tied around sliced hard-boiled eggs and cooked in a tomato sauce, fresh baked bread, and a bean soup. On my way back to the table, I passed Toby, already heading for seconds. After I sat down, Aiden put her hand on mine. I leaned in and kissed her on the cheek. 2 tables away, Lenore sat glaring at us, at me. I couldn't understand why she didn't like me. No, it was more than that. She openly disliked me. I wanted to march over to her table and have it out with her. But not now. Not with all these people around. Not on such a happy day as this. We sat and ate and discussed everything that had happened. We didn't notice that the square outside the mess had slowly grown dark until there was a commotion and people close to the windows got up and started to leave. I checked my watch to see if we were late for the meeting, but it was only 7:30. The people outside were excited and pointing to the ceiling. We followed the stream of people to the square and looked up into a starry sky unlike any we had ever seen. Something large, round, and silvery was rising in the east. It wasn't a miner's sol, but something completely different, with a pocked surface. Its light was dim, yet crisp and cool. Mrs. Greer and Bedford ascended the stone platform, and the crowd quieted down.
It's early,
Started the missus.
but that remarkable object rising in the night sky has drawn everyone to the square, so we might as well begin. Can you hear me in the generator room?
Yes, ma'am.
Came Randall's voice.
We're all watching from here.
Mrs. Greer nodded and continued.
You are probably wondering what that is up there, that silvery white disk. That is a moon, or more specifically, the Earth's moon. That was the Earth's sol we saw earlier today. The builders called it the sun. Earth is the place of our origin, our home world, if you will. That is a fact now, not just solarist propaganda, as the council would like you to believe.
The crowd cheered and clapped. Bedford spoke next.
You may have noticed a slight breeze and a freshness to the air. That is all thanks to the crew in the generating station.
More applause.
As we talked about before, we can survive down here for many months if need be. Our discovery of the electrical generators will make it a more comfortable stay. It also will affect the decisions we have to make. Do we focus our efforts on finding a way topside, or bide our time down here and learn all there is to learn from this place?
He and the missus let the people talk amongst themselves. I called out from the edge of the square. May I say something, ma'am?
Please.
She answered. I'm new among you, and I may be more overwhelmed than anybody here. Yes, overwhelmed with images and thoughts and ideas that tell me that our whole world is a lie,
It is a lie.
shouted someone. A debate erupted among faceless voices from the crowd.
Where do any of us have to go anyway?
Right. The council could be up above right now, digging through the ruins.
We're bottled up in here, trapped like sheep waiting for slaughter.
I heard that the generator room opens to the outside. Can't we get out from there?
There is no direct exit,
Came Randall's voice in answer to the last person's question.
and it would be beyond dangerous to traverse the face of the rim under the falls.
Even if we got out now, the council could track us through the snow and hunt us down like Skreel.
An average-looking man in his 50s stepped to the front of the crowd, then turned and shouted,
The council can go couple with themselves. If we all make a break for it, they can't hunt us all down.
You tell 'em, Frank. We should fan out and spread the truth. The people will rally to our side.
The truth will out.
Don't be naive.
said Joe.
The people of Neworld are content. Look at it from their point of view. We're the dissidents here, the minority, the blasphemers.
I pressed my original point. See how unsettling this knowledge is, and you are the movement. You hoped this all was true. But ask yourself seriously, what's going to happen to Neworld if we leave here, scatter to the four corners of the land, and dump our knowledge on the people all at once?
I agree. We have to decide what to do with this knowledge before we leave.
But we need to have all the facts before we make that decision.
Can I make a motion? That's how it works, isn't it? Someone makes a motion, then we vote?
Go ahead, Elizabeth.
I move we postpone the decision to dig our way out of here for 3 months, until after the thaw. We have enough supplies to last that long, don't we?
Yes, if we ration.
Good! We can use those 3 months to learn what we can and discuss the consequences of our work.
It's been moved that we sit tight down here in the quarters for 3 months. Is there a second?
Second,
Came Randall's voice.
Okay, lads and lassies, all those in favor say aye.
There was a chorus of ayes.
Those not in favor say nay.
The chorus of nays was equally loud.
what about the other tunnel?
It was Percy. Grumbling and confusion spread through the assemblage.
What other tunnel?
Percy looked sheepishly at Mrs. Greer, who seemed to take no notice, and at Bedford, who glared at him. The missus motioned the crowd to quiet.
There is a second dead-end tunnel that we think leads to another hidden passage.
The crowd became unruly again.
Is it a way out?
Why didn't you tell us?
No more secrets.
She silenced them again, took the time to scan the entire team, and then spoke calmly.
We believed that the passage we did open would benefit all of us more right now and would provide us time to find a way out.
I have a suggestion, ma'am,
said Toby.
Let Sean and me take a team to knock down the other wall and see what's on the other side. Exit or no exit, at least we'd know. Then we take our time, like Lisbeth said, to decide what to do.
Second!
Yelled someone.
No motion was made.
Close enough.
The square erupted with laughter.
All in favor, say aye.
Unanimously, the crowd cried aye and began cheering and clapping. Mrs. Greer leaned toward a scowling Bedford and whispered,
I think this is what the builders called democracy.
He thought a moment, a smile slowly forming. Then he nodded and joined Mrs. Greer in the applause.
Now enjoy this beautiful night,
said Mrs. Greer after the celebration quieted down.
Let's take a 2-sol holiday before getting to work. The sol after tomorrow, we will have our high conjunction feast here in the square. It's long overdue. Then we'll ration.
End of chapter 12. Next up, disappearances.